Captain's log. Star dates today. After falling through a singularity, the Enterprise has found itself thrown back in time to the early 21st century, the year 2013. The people of this time are divided. They just can't seem to find unity in diversity. If only they could benefit from the wisdom of my time, the 23rd century, where people of different persuasions had learned to live in peace. If only there was someone who could teach them, someone who could show them the way. Their lives, their futures would look different, brighter, full of hope. I know you may think this is too much to ask for, but I have seen the future, and the future is you. Kirk out. Thank you, Captain Kirk. I'll take it from here. Yes, I'll be the one to show you the way. I'm the Star Trek guy. But on a more serious note, Star Trek is not just a bastion of fandom. It's a touchstone of societal ethics. And believe it or not, there is much we can learn from it. Star Trek, like all science fiction, is a reflection of modern society. It's not just a myriad of phaser beams, laser guns, warp drives, and flux capacitors. It shows us the way we are, and then shows us the way things should be in a perfect world. The road to tolerance begins with the realization that there is a problem. The problems of the world and the Antelope Valley, as a microcosm of it, are plainly evident. So what can we do? Well, in that vein, I'll turn to the fiction of the future of Star Trek and the social unity it imagines. So now, let us boldly go where no one has gone before. But before we can learn the lessons within Star Trek, we must first study our past. Remember the adage, those who do not learn from the past are doomed to repeat it. But where do we begin? Can we go back in time far enough to a point where intolerance is not an issue? As long as we have lived on this planet we call Earth, we have exhibited a startling lack of tolerance for our fellow human beings. It has brought out the ugliest side of human nature. It has ignited wars, destroyed societies, and still does today. From the enslavement of Africans to the unimaginable horrors of the Holocaust, to the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II, to Rodney King's statement, can't we all just get along? We have circled the answer many times, but we have yet to take action. So with these broad-reaching examples from our past, we can now look at the more specific aspects of our own community. There is a consensus among the residents of the Antelope Valley that social intolerance is alive and well. It's a pervasive issue, born of ignorance. The Department of Justice states that intolerance is an unfortunate part of the history of the Antelope Valley. The AV Times reports that the Antelope Valley has the second highest hate crime rate of the county. California state law defines a hate crime as an incident that demonstrates hatred or bias towards a victim's gender, race, religion, or sexual orientation. Again, the AV Times reports that 25% of all hate crimes committed within LA County were motivated by the sexual orientation of the victim. 84% targeted gay men. Homophobic crimes were more likely to be violent than either racial or religious crimes. Now, with these facts considered, Samantha Tata of NBC Los Angeles reports that, ironically enough, Palmdale is one of the cities that participates in the Share Tolerance program. SHARE, which stands for Stop Hate and Respect Everyone. Obviously, it isn't working. So something needs to be done. But where can we turn? What can serve as a blueprint of societal ethics? Well, the answer is Star Trek. Dave Marencio, an author who recognizes the benefits of watching Star Trek, says that the unknown is not to be feared, it is to be examined, understood, and accepted. Judith Barad, the author of The Ethics of Star Trek, notes that Star Trek has endured as its stories are moral fables. Star Trek was groundbreaking for its time, from portraying television's first interracial kiss to dramatizing the effects of homelessness and homosexuality and religious intolerance. The ethics of Star Trek has created a world that strives to be free of the racist and sexist and xenophobic attitudes that are unfortunately still all too common today. The book, Star Trek and Sacred Ground, notes that this ideal for tolerance, for diversity, is symbolized by the concept of the IDIC, infinite diversity in infinite combinations. So, Star Trek's creator, Gene Roddenberry, saw that in the future, conflict is just not the way to go. So, we've seen the problems where our answers may lie. With this knowledge, what action can we take? I present to you the Star Trek solution. As a junior college community, we can be the initiators of the Star Trek solution. We'll form a club where we'll study the ethics of Star Trek and be enlightened. Everyone is welcome. We have the power to touch lives, and those lives we touch will touch others, and so on to infinity. Contact your favorite teachers. You can bring this idea to other halls of learning, high schools, universities. You can make it a part of the curriculum. For the Enterprise is not simply a ship amongst the stars. It is the ship of Earth, a mixture of different races, species, and genders, all working together in harmony. Not to mention all the species the Enterprise encounters: Klingons, Romulans, Vulcans, Horta, Tribbles. It worked there. Why not here? The question is not why. It's why not. It's the undiscovered country. We have these means at our fingertips. We simply have to grab hold. For respect of others brings respect by others. Imagine the benefits. It's easy if you try. That, in turn, would produce healthy self-esteem in yourself and those around you. With social unity, hostility, antagonism, and crime would not be the problems they are today. People would feel safe and secure. They could live and let live. Imagine that. You might say, I'm a dreamer. John Lennon once sang. But I'm not the only one. So, we've seen the problems, our answers, and we've written a prescription for the solution. We've defined the issues surrounding intolerance, these statistics that prove it to be just as much a problem for the AV as it is for other communities. We've visited the possible solution by looking at the ethical standards documented in Star Trek. I have thrown down the gauntlet for you to pick up. As that Star Trek guy, I'm happy to put these ideas, these possibilities in your head. Now, I know these proposals may seem out of this world, just as Star Trek is out of this world. But stranger things have happened. Exploration is a good thing. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Ingenuity breeds innovation. Fortune favors the bold. You never know, it may just lead to greater things. As Captain Kirk attested to in the episode Return to Tomorrow. They used to say that if a man could fly, he'd have wings. But he did fly. He discovered he had to. Do you wish that the first Apollo mission hadn't reached the moon? Or that we hadn't sent probes to Mars, Jupiter, or Venus? Well, that's like saying you still wish you played with Atari or drove to school on a horse like your great-great-great-great-grandfather used to. I'm Captain Kirk. I'm in command. I could order this. But I won't. Because I want you to realize the enormous potential for knowledge and advancement is equally great. Risk. Risk is our business. That's what this is all about. That's why we're here. So please, join me now. Scotty? One to be. Thank you. Thank you.